hate to say I was going to bang the gavel, but I don't have it, so I'll just knock on the table. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, we're at the bottom of the hour. I want to go ahead and call the April 14th Peachtree City Planning Commission meeting to order. If all in attendance who are citizens of the United States would please join me in pledging allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, want to welcome everyone who are in attendance this evening. We do have 3 new agenda items, but we're going to go ahead and ask staff any additions or deletions.
No, sir.
this evening? Okay. Any announcements and reports?
None at this time.
Okay. Approval of minutes. Hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to take a look at the minutes that were sent out. Any questions, additions, deletions to the meeting or to the minutes? No? Okay. As such, do we have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve minutes as submitted in a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved as submitted. No public hearings this evening. No old agenda items. So new agenda items. Our first is the building elevations daycare facility 1501 Georgian Park, and turn it over to staff.
Thank you so much. The item before you tonight will be building elevations for a daycare facility located at 1501 Georgian Park. It's located adjacent to the Kroger Village Shopping Plaza Center behind Target. As you can see here, the property is zoned general commercial, and as you're seeing there identified in the X, you're seeing where the property itself is identified. As mentioned, the property has a general commercial opportunity for use of the site. In order to have the design component considered, Section 725 of the Land Development Ordinance identifies how that development must be in harmony with the surrounding parcels. And with that, Section 726 and 728 will give more detail in that. So again, 726 is the design component. It will have hardy plank siding, hardy plank, as well as Cordova stone, fiber, cement, and anodized aluminum. And then for color, it'll be cobblestone, tumbleweed, limestone, pebblestone, and then the weathered wood in color. So here you'll see on the site, it's identifying what that design will look like, what those colors would be, give a more elevational look of what that component will look like, as well as where the location of the site is. And then you'll see here it gives a percentage of what those mixtures would be. And I think you can have a closer look from your lens versus what we can see here, but you'll see the percentage of what the materials will be composed of. Okay? And then here, during the last discussion we had on this property, there were questions about the materials or the equipment for outdoor play. The applicant wanted to ensure that he shared that with you so that if you had any further questions there, he could answer. And based on this design and based on this concept, staff has found this to be in conjunction with what the regulations requires. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant or applicant's representative here this evening? Okay. If you'd please step up the microphone and give your name.
Yeah, sure. Frank Malowski, Insight Real Estate.
Thank you, Frank. Do you have anything to add to staff's presentation?
No, I appreciate the information that was presented.
Okay, perfect. Going to open it up to questions from the commissioners. Commissioner Reeves, any questions of staff or the applicant?
Sure. So one of the questions I had is, maybe this has already been addressed already, I don't know. But how many employees will you have at this facility? Do you know?
Hi, my name's Andrew Johnson. I'm another project manager with Insight. That information was shared last time, and I don't have it offhand right now, but we could certainly provide it to the
Okay.
commission. Yeah.
All right. I think that's the only question I had. I'm glad you brought the playground pictures, because I was pretty sure there was one, but I didn't see it in the original drawings. Thank you.
Yeah, we wanted to highlight the shade structures, I think was the point of concern last time.
Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Hamner, any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Chris?
No questions.
Okay, gonna go ahead and stay with you. Any comments?
I think, it looks good. I live in this neighborhood. Once again, excited for this project. I think it's a needed thing in the community, so I think the elevations look great.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hamner?
Same. Looks really good.
Thank you. Commissioner Reeves?
Yeah, it's a nice facility.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it'll be a nice addition to that area.
We think so.
And it definitely will fit in very nicely to the property, the way it is, so, great.
Thank you for the positive feedback.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
Move to approve the building elevations for the daycare facility at 1501 Georgian Park.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any other comments or questions? No? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, approved.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very much. Okay, next item, the building elevations, PTC Grocer, 258 City Circle.
Thank you. The item before you, as mentioned, is a local grocer for the Avenue PTC location. The property is currently zoned LUC, which is limited use commercial. This is the location that was previously Books A Million. You can see that identified here. This particular parcel, this property itself will have the same elements in color and design. You're not seeing much color and design to change here. However, what you'll see to be an addition here would be simple things such as more windows, closing of doors and replacing it with more windows, and then giving the opportunity for there to be, I think that we were removing some of the, let's say, area for new signage. They're putting a new space in for new signage. They're putting in new clear story windows. Door, as I mentioned, will be replaced with more windows, and then the continuous awning that you will see more here. It's going to wrap around the entire frontage. This will now be the new frontage of this particular store. They're no longer using the previous location as shown in the previous picture. On the side, they're using mainly this location of the frontage. And then you'll see here, they're going to have the signage placed above there, replacing what's currently there. There is a separate signage application process that will be adhered to at a later time, not today. And so with that, sorry, my button is stuck. I can't click to the next one, I'm sorry. But with that, okay, there it goes. Okay, thank you. So you'll see at the side, there's a current mural that's there. We have worked with the property, I guess, leaser to have for that mural to be moved further down. It will be a new painting that incorporates the same theme of Welcome to Peachtree City, with an opportunity for the leasee to have their design component added into that mural. But that's what we are hoping to have placed in the larger component, but the applicant can tell you exactly where they're looking to have it once they're there. So with that, staff has found that this design concept meets what is required within the regulations of the city.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is the applicant's rep available? Great.
Hey, good evening. My name's Chris Nardone. I'm the architect, CNA Architects, and so I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start with any questions of the applicant or staff. Commissioner Chris?
Yeah, I'd like to know why the overhang has been shortened in one of the pictures there. Was that why was that done? It seems like there's a nice amount of shade there. I'm sorry to see that kind of be removed from the project.
Yeah, so the canopy that's being replaced is been designed to cover the cart corrals for the grocer. and that was the extent of that cart corral area.
So I'm sorry, I
So-
guess I don't understand your response.
So the new canopy, its footprint is designed to cover the
Only-
the front entrance and the cart corral areas.
And that's it, and then, oh, okay, I see. So there's no, that's not going to be, it's no longer going to be a pedestrian walkway underneath that canopy. It'll be for a cart corral, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay.
On the sides, yes.
I see. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see that you're working with city to move the mural. Are you going to move it to that adjacent spot there? Is that the hope?
That's the talk, and it may be the whole thing. It might jump that pier, it might be on both sides of the pier and be the whole wall.
Okay.
I'm hoping that's what the grocer's leaning towards. But they're a neighborhood-type grocer, they're community-oriented, and they want to kind of put their little input in the graphics and everything that's going in there. So we're awaiting to see what that looks like, but they know it's supposed to be in the character of what's there. And the only other thing I was going to say is on the main front elevation, if you go, sorry, one more back, yeah. So you can kind of look, Books A Million was a replacement from a previous store also. And they just went in and they infilled the clear story windows and infilled the storefront with Drive It. We were pretty happy that the grocer itself wanted to really open it up and get light into the project, and so we have a lot more storefront now, and it's a little closer probably to what was originally there. And all the materials are existing, we're just matching the existing materials on the building.
So the font that you use for the words grocery store looks awfully familiar. Is that a proprietary font?
Yeah, I'm under confidentiality, even though it's pretty public what that thing is.
Okay.
They've submitted for plans, they've submitted plans, so it's,
And so this is great. So we're here today to look at these elevations, and honestly, I think they look quite nice. So I have really no further comments or questions on the elevations, but I think it would be a bad thing for me not to mention that this area is an extremely crowded area. So I'm extremely concerned about the addition of this particular store in this particular location. And I would advise your client to look very strongly at additional options for either more parking or additional options for locations. I just think that this is going to be a nightmare in that particular location. But from what we're reviewing today, I think the submitted designs look quite nice.
thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hamner?
No questions.
Commissioner Reeves?
No questions.
And I guess my question is, well, it's a question and a comment. So the question is, do we have an idea, timing-wise, when the client will come back on the mural?
Shaylee, what did they say, the end of the month?
Yep.
About a month? Okay.
Hopefully the end of this month, yes.
Okay. And the reason why I'm asking about that is on that side of the building where the mural currently is, depending on what happens with that, one of the things I would like to see and would like to recommend or suggest is where that small area is. I think it's like 14 feet, 8 inches. If the mural is not covering across that pillar where the light is, I'd really like to see the knee wall extended, and then that section of ephes probably brick to match, because it just looks a little out of place next to the windows, right where that is. Ideally, if you're able to, and they're willing to go ahead and do a mural across all of those, that would be great. But that would be a suggestion, just to kind of tie that into where the windows are at and not have it kind of by itself as its own separate kind of ephes
Sure,
little area there.
I see exactly what you're saying, and
Yeah.
if I can pass that along to the
Okay.
client.
And that's something we'll probably, if everyone's in agreement, depending on the other commissioners, that's something we can make as a suggestion as part of it. So, okay. Commissioner Reeves? comments?
The comment that I had is similar to my fellow commissioner. I think traffic in that area currently is already something to be desired. You know, it looks as though, from the planning commission standpoint, traffic is not something that we're going to be addressing. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct. Yeah, that's my only comment, is that I think it's going to contribute to more traffic.
Thank you. Commissioner Hamner?
Overall, this plan makes sense. It looks good. Regarding the traffic, it's a valid concern. And I know that others within the community have spoken about that as well, just as a general concept if a grocer were to go into this. But you know, I will say this, if for this type of grocer that's going in, having looked at other locations of this, traffic is always a nightmare around this type of grocer.
Very true,
So
very true.
it's almost kind of like, regardless where it is, it's going to be an issue on this. Now, having said that, the avenue is already busting at the seams with traffic and pedestrians, et cetera, on that. So this won't help, but at the same time, it's going to happen regardless on that. It's just, obviously, again, it's having a grocer like this in Peachtree City is going to be incredibly popular, incredibly successful, but you got to have the sweet with the sour, and that's just going to be one of the things that's going to come from this, unfortunately. Those are my comments, but again, the plan overall I think looks really good.
Commissioner Chris, any other comments?
Yeah, stand by my previous comments. I just hope they start to open at 6 a.m. so I can go when there's absolutely no traffic.
And I echo the other commissioners. I understand why it's going where it's going. It would be great if there was a different location, but those currently just do not exist in the city. And I think with the surrounding businesses and stores, it ties in very nicely with that, kind of as a higher end. But traffic is no doubt going to be an issue. And I'll be honest, probably anything, quite honestly, that would probably go in there, traffic is still going to be an issue. You know, hopefully the work that's being done on 5474 will help to alleviate some of that, but just the coming in and out and just parking is going to be very difficult, especially on that corner where there's not a lot of open spots there. So, but I'm sure the leasing company of the avenue has taken a look at that and understands the concerns, and hopefully, you know, be able to maybe do something to help out with that as time goes on. So, but overall, aside from just that one panel section, everything else to me looks good on the elevation. So thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, would you like to make a condition concerning that panel?
I think that'd probably be the best way to do it,
Okay.
is to make it a condition in the work with staff, that if basically if that panel is left by itself, to extend the knee wall and to make that brick so it matches kind of the other side of the window as well as the pillar. I think that would just from an aesthetic look so much better than just that little panel by itself. But again, we won't know the final design for about another month, but I think that would probably be the best way to handle that.
So I'll try it. A move to approve the building elevations for the PTC Grocer at 258 City Circle with the condition that the applicant work with city staff concerning the panel that's presented here, depending on what the final design of the mural is.
I think that's good.
Yep. Second.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve with condition and a second. Any other comments or questions? Okay. With that said, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. So it is approved with the stated condition. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so the final item is a conceptual site plan, SWI Machinery, 400 NACO Way. Back to
Yes, sir.
staff.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So the property is zoned general industrial and airport overlay. As you can see, the parcel is located along NACO Way. This is the previous site plan, and so there's a revision to the site plan. The previous site plan had a structure of 20,940 square feet with 22 parking spaces. It was approved in 2023. The parcel is now being proposed to have renovations for a larger structure at 27,000 square feet with 24 parking spaces. There will be a modified cul-de-sac, as you can see, located here. As you see on the previous, that cul-de-sac was not located in that exact location, but it has since been moved. The detention ponds, as you can see on this slide, have been moved into 2 different locations now. So they have Pond A and Pond B for these sites. Okay, so with that, the development meets the standards of code that we have before us today.
Thank you. Do we have the applicant or representative?
Yes, Jason Walls with Highland Land Planning, 201 Prospect Park. Just here to answer any questions that you guys may have. She did a good job.
Anything to add? I was just going to
Yeah,
ask.
I mean, well, I guess it's 3 things we're here to discuss. The building size increased. I think the client just wanted to add the addition now instead of in the future. The item 2 was the P-shaped cul-de-sac as opposed to the symmetrical one. That was so we would have one, our client, SWI, would be the single donator of right-of-way as opposed to a piece from Gerresheimer and a piece from SWI. Also, I do believe Gerresheimer has, or Coweta ADMC technically has cabinets and power running on that side of the road, so it made sense to just do it on one side. That, I do believe, was, by the way, once, I think she mentioned we're the second engineer on this. Those 2 items were on the first submittal in engineering a while ago, so they were predated us. The 3rd item is stormwater. We took this over and mainly for the stormwater issue. It's very difficult stormwater design. 1/3 of the site does drain east. I think that's that direction towards Planterra Ridge, golf course. I forget what hole that is, but and I have some photos here. But it does have not significant flooding, but it does have a lot of water heading that direction. You can notice it. The cart path is unlined, but in this area, the low point where this water will discharge, it's lined with like river stone, on both sides, just kind of protect it. So seeing that 1/3 of the site goes that way, including part of the developed area, we felt, of course you need something for erosion control during construction, but we felt it needed to be a permanent pond. That pond is oversized and it's low and flat. We left 20 feet between us and the property line. We'll be able to put the cryptomerias, I think I saw that as a previous recommendation from the last time. So we'll be able to add those, and then I just wanted to point out, once you leave our property onto the golf course's property, it's about anywhere between 80 and 120 feet to the cart path. And so that whole area is additional wooded, and then the other side of the cart path continues to be wooded slightly before you get to the fairway. So I feel like this was just an engineering change. We needed to get a pond in there at the low point, and I think it's the best for that area. We are going to over detain, and with a shallow pond like that, we could possibly add trees within the pond too. It doesn't, it's okay to have shade in those type ponds that are low, kind of 2 to 3 foot deep.
Okay.
So anyways, that's just a little additional information.
Sure. Great. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to start with Commissioner Hammer. Any questions of staff for the applicant?
No questions.
Commissioner Reeves?
No questions. I remember it from last time.
Sure. Commissioner Chris?
No questions.
Commissioner Hammer, any comments?
No comments other than it makes sense, looks good.
Commissioner Chris?
Just want to say I really appreciate you coming back and fixing this drainage issue. I think that's going to be great for the longevity of this project in that area, so really appreciate you coming back to us.
Commissioner Reeves?
Ditto. I remember it from last time, and I think you did a great job. Thanks.
Yeah, and follow along with the fellow commissioners with their comments on that. Glad that was, I don't want to say fixed, but fixed. And it's much better design for that and understanding of what's going on there. And yeah, and if you're able to go ahead and put any type of vegetation, trees or anything like that in that shallow retention pond, that's just extra. So that's great. Thank you. Okay. So do we have a motion?
So I'll move to approve the conceptual site plan for SWI machinery at 400 make away with the conditions as presented by staff.
Right.
Do we have a
Second, I'll
Okay.
second it.
Sure. So a motion for approval and a second. Any other comments, questions? Okay.
No.
With that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Approved as submitted. Thank you very much. Okay, next meeting before we adjourn is 24th? Or what?
Yes, it's on the 24th of this
24th?
month. Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions or comments before we adjourn? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion to adjourn in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay,